Hey, are you tired of being controlled by your compulsions? In other words, leading an amateur life? Perfect. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm Shelly Peters. Welcome to my channel. This is the place to embrace a plant-based life. If you're addicted to junk food, failure, distractions, and drama, and you're caught in a destructive loop, listen up. You need to ditch this amateur mindset and turn pro. Let me show you the way. Turning pro is a decision. Okay, it's a monumental decision, granted. It typically involves high emotion and drama. You know, you've seen it before in the before and after pictures of folks who've lost an enormous amount of weight. Often they have hit rock bottom, you know, think disease diagnosis, depression, desperation. And they've come to the point where they're saying, enough. I'm doing something about this. And what happens to them is they decide they're going to shed their amateur ways and they're going to turn pro. It's what I did years ago. I'll get into the details of my messy life in a minute. So if you don't have a crisis that is going to wake you up, you know what? You can look for one. Hold on. Don't panic. I'm not going to get you to do anything crazy here and create a crisis. Hear me out. If turning pro requires some hard truths and along with some uncomfortable feelings, maybe simply getting really honest about your health and your lifestyle, maybe all you need to realize you're already in crisis, but you maybe haven't even recognized it. Look, honestly, you need to look at your life and see all aspects of your life. How is it going? How's your health? Are you exercising? Are you eating right? How's your mindset? Check out all aspects of your life. You might even want to measure some of those aspects. What's your weight? Where do you fall into the weight category? Once you get all the facts on the table, you might even want to do your cholesterol, your blood pressure. Check where you really are right now. Get all the facts on the table and ask yourself how you want to show up for the rest of your life. How do you want to age? I don't know about you, but I want to be fully engaged and leading an amazing life to the very, very end. So you know what? Denial is a dangerous game. Before you know it, you're in a health crisis that really could have been avoided with some lifestyle changes. Or even worse, you wake up at the end of your life and you realize that you have been living on the sidelines. You know, whether it's chronic disease or you just don't have the energy or you have a bad knee, whatever the reason, you've spent the whole time on the sidelines, not fully engaged in life, not living the life that you could be living if you made really good lifestyle choices that comes along with turning pro. Before I dig into how to turn pro, I need to give a shout out to Steven Pressfield. He wrote a book called Turning Pro, and it really was a game changer for me. It's a must read, and it's just a short and concise little manual that I always have nearby. And he was able to put a framework for me around what I was trying to do with my life when I personally hit rock bottom. I was in a bad marriage. I had 3 kids. One was special needs, and I was living in a foreign country. So I needed to make some changes in my life. I needed to recognize, and I did with the help of my therapist, that it was really my 6-year-old self that was leading the way. And my life had really turned into a shit show because of it. I was the definition of an amateur. Although it looked like I was an adult, I was paying my bills and I was living in a house and I'd moved all over the world and I had 3 children who were fed and clothed and got to school. Quite frankly, I was not doing well. I was an amateur and I needed to turn pro because those habits that are professional habits that you can embrace are a game changer in all aspects of your life. So when I read Turning Pro, it really gave me concrete ways to show up in my life. You know, knowing what habits you need to master, which is what this book did for me, really helped me know what I was aiming for. I'm going to share with you what those habits are from Steven Pressfield's book, and then I'm going to put a spin on those habits and tell you what a pro plant eater would do. So I'm going to put a spin on them for specifically if you're going to turn into a plant eater. Okay, number 1 from Steven Pressfield's book, Turning Pro. A pro shows up every single day. Number 2, a pro stays on the job all day. And the book is filled with gems. You really need to read it. He's irreverent and cheeky and funny. It's like you're having a drink with him when you're reading it. He's just fabulous. And the job he's referring to is your commitment to what is important to you. Number 3, a pro is committed over the long haul. It's not about quick gratification. It's about having the commitment for the long haul. Number 4, a pro knows that the stakes are high, and they are. This is our life. We have one shot at it. Number 5, a pro acts in the face of fear. Now, there are many other habits that he talks about in the book. Those are 5 that I chose to highlight. Get the book and you'll be able to read them all. The plant eater's version is as follows. Number 1, a pro plant eater shows up every day and chooses whole food, plant-based foods to eat. Nutrient-dense, health-promoting foods. Number 2, a pro plant eater eats whole food, plant-based foods all day long. They don't fall apart at 7 o'clock at night in front of Netflix. Number 3, a pro plant eater is committed for the long haul. This is a lifestyle change and a lifetime commitment. It's your life you're talking about, so it's important that you recognize that. Number 4, a pro plant eater knows that the stakes are high. In fact, I would argue they're the highest because we're talking about your health and the quality of your life. Number 5, a pro plant eater chooses to eat whole food, plant-based foods even when it's hard or in the face of fear. You know, let me give you a couple of examples of the differences between a pro plant eater and an amateur. A pro plant eater has done their Sunday food prep. Their house is filled with whole food, plant-based foods. They have a menu. They know what they're going to eat. They've got a big bowl of fruit out on the counter, and they have a plan. The amateur still has junk food in the house, hasn't got around to doing any of the Sunday prep, didn't bother with a menu because they like to wing it. That's the difference between a pro and an amateur. The pro plant eater speaks up when she needs to request, hey, can we go to a restaurant where I can get a salad? I have a salad every day at lunch. Or, hey, I have oatmeal for breakfast. I'm going to make sure that I call ahead and see if the hotel has oatmeal. If not, I'm going to be bringing some of my own. The amateur is too afraid to make her health a priority because she's afraid she may offend someone in the process. Pretty crazy, huh? The pro plant eater knows that her compulsions are really amateur habits that she needs to grow up and shed. The pro is ready to feel the discomfort you're going to feel at the beginning when you start to choose to be an adult and make the decisions to master the habits of a pro, the habits of eating a plant-based diet. So the only question I have for you is, are you ready to turn pro? It's a life changer. I can tell you from my own experience, it just doesn't impact your health. It impacts every single corner of your life. Your relationships, your job, how you view life. It feels so good to be an adult. And little did I know in my 40s that I really wasn't acting much like an adult until I shed the denial, looked in the mirror, and saw the hard truth about how I was leading my life. So I invite you to do the same. It's absolutely worth it. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share it with friends and family, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, and thanks for joining me. I get really excited talking about turning pro because it's a game changer. Take care and see you soon.